I never imagined I'd become the man who had to pretend not to hear his wife praise another man. But betrayal doesn't knock when it enters your home. It walks in, puts its feet on your table, and smirks at you. My name's Daniel. I'm 38, an architect from Chicago, and for most of my life, I believed love and loyalty were the same word. My wife, Claire, apparently spoke a different dialect, one fluent in deceit. We'd been married 9 years, the kind of couple people envied. The smiling hosts, the perfect photos, the yearly cards that made us look unbreakable. But behind that perfect frame, something foul had been growing, and I'd been too blind to smell the rot until the night everything went up in flames. It was a Friday, nothing special. I came home early, the last light of day bleeding through the blinds. Her car was in the driveway, and music pulsed from inside the house. I heard laughter, hers, echoing through the hallway. I thought she was chatting with Melissa, her best friend. I was right, but not about the topic. She sat on the couch, wine glass in hand, phone glowing in front of her. Melissa's voice carried through the speaker. "I'm telling you, Mel," Claire giggled, "he's nothing like Daniel. This guy, God, he knows exactly what to do with it." Their laughter hit me like a slap. My wife, laughing like a teenager about someone else's body. I froze. The heat rose at my back, but my thoughts turned sharp, deliberate. I didn't storm in. I just stood there, invisible, listening to the woman I'd built a life with dismantle it in real time. When she finally noticed me, her smile cracked. The blood drained from her face. "Dan," she started, but I lifted a hand. "No, please. Don't stop. Finish your call." Her lips trembled. She fumbled with her phone, muttered something about girl talk. I smiled faintly. "Sure. Girl talk." Then I walked past her into our bedroom and closed the door. I didn't cry, didn't scream. I just stared at the wedding photo on the dresser, her leaning on my shoulder, both of us glowing with a trust that now looked like mockery. That night, she tried to explain. She talked about boredom, lost spark, and how men change. Every word was another blade twisting in my ribs. She wasn't remorseful. She was just defending herself, trying to make her betrayal sound reasonable. So I listened, calmly, like an architect studying a doomed structure before demolition. The next morning, I kissed her cheek before work and told her I loved her. She smiled, confused but relieved. She had no clue that by sundown, her little empire of lies would crumble. While she showered, I mirrored her phone to my laptop. Her lover's name was Ryan, a younger personal trainer from her gym. Arrogant. Empty. The kind of man who mistakes charm for depth. Their messages were explicit enough to shatter anyone's heart. But instead of rage, I felt clarity. That weekend, I invited her parents for dinner. I cooked her favorite meal, set candles, made everything look picture perfect. When they arrived, she performed her usual act, laughing, pouring wine, pretending to be the devoted wife. Midway through dinner, I stepped into the living room and synced my laptop to the TV. When I returned, I pressed play. Her messages appeared in bright, undeniable text. Every word, every emoji, every confession. Her mother gasped. Her father dropped his fork. Claire's face turned white. She screamed my name, rushed toward the TV, but the damage was done. Her father's jaw tightened. Her mother whispered, "Claire, what is this?" I stood there, steady as stone. "That's the woman I married," I said quietly. "Guess I never really knew her." The silence that followed was deafening. Claire froze, clutching the remote, eyes wide with panic. Her father's expression shifted from confusion to disgust. Her mother looked away, trembling. "Daniel, why would you do this?" Claire sobbed, her voice breaking. I tilted my head, meeting her eyes. "Why would you?" Then came the tears, loud, desperate, performative. The same kind she shed during sad movies. Only this time, there was no audience left to believe her. Her tears rolled down, splashing over the spilled wine, but it wasn't sorrow, it was panic. She wasn't sorry for what she'd done. She was sorry for being caught. Her father pushed his chair back slowly. "Claire, I didn't raise you for this. he said, voice low but heavy enough to crush the air between us. The disappointment cut sharper than any scream. Then he looked at me. Daniel, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve this. I said nothing. There was nothing left that words could fix. When her parents left, she tried again, her tone trembling between guilt and desperation. We can fix this, she whispered, following me down the hall. I'll end it with him. I'll get therapy. Please, we can still make it work. I turned to her. Claire, I said quietly, the moment you laughed about another man while wearing my ring, something in me died. I'm just giving it a proper burial. She reached out, but I stepped back. Pack your things. The locks change tomorrow. Her face twisted, disbelief mixing with anger. You're ending 9 years over one mistake? I almost laughed. Claire, that wasn't a mistake. That was a routine. And the only mistake I made was believing you still understood loyalty. She didn't answer. She packed a few bags and left that night, slamming the door like it could bruise me. It didn't. I just sat there, listening to the silence settle into the walls, the house finally breathing again, free of lies. The next few weeks passed in a haze. She called, texted, even showed up at my office once. I ignored it all. Divorce papers went out within a month. Friends tried to mediate, preaching forgiveness and healing. But forgiveness was never the problem. Trust was, and once that breaks, it cuts both ways. Revenge, though, revenge has its own rhythm. Mine wasn't angry or loud. It was precise, quiet, and entirely legal. Ryan, the gym trainer, was married. His wife's name was Rachel. She learned about the affair through a neat folder of screenshots and photos I mailed anonymously. No note, no threats, just evidence. Days later, she filed for divorce. When Ryan's reputation crashed, the gym dropped him to protect their brand. Claire found out soon after. She texted me one last time. You didn't have to ruin his life. I typed one line back. You bragged about his big stick. I just made sure everyone knew where he put it. After that, silence. Perfect, merciful silence. Months slipped by. I threw myself into work, hit the gym harder, started sleeping again without ghosts whispering in the dark. The house felt lighter, like it had been washed clean. Sometimes, at night, I'd stand by the window and wonder how something that once felt unshakable had turned to dust. But then I'd remember, not everything that breaks needs fixing. Some things need burying. About a year later, I ran into her mother at a small cafe. She looked older, worn down by sadness. She told me Claire had moved to Denver, living alone, working part-time, trying to find herself. I nodded politely, offered nothing more. As I turned to leave, she touched my arm and said softly, "You did what you had to do." That night, I poured myself a glass of whiskey and sat on the porch, watching the sky fade into night. Love used to feel like home. Now peace did. If I learned anything from that wreckage, it's this. You can't build forever with someone who treats loyalty like a pastime. The day she mocked me to her friend, she thought she'd won some secret game of power. But power built on betrayal always collapses. And when it does, the quiet man, the one she thought would stay silent, walks away without a word. Because sometimes, the most devastating revenge isn't fury. It's grace. And that's what I kept when she lost everything else.